بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome all of you wherever you are. I'm welcoming with you again with this lecture, Fatwa Life. The first question tonight, it reflects a problem with some of the relationship between fathers and sons. The question here, I obey my father because I want to obey Allah Azza wa Jalla. I do not reject anything for him. If he's sick, I take care of him and I will stay up the night for him. But I hate him. I never hated anyone on earth like I hate him. I hate him like I've never hated anyone like it. That's because the way he deal with me and my brothers, he don't wish any good for us. He prefer people over us. He fought us in our way of life. He deal with us very harshly all over the years. What is the rule of this? First of all, I want to stress about the importance to take care of the parents and taking care of them. The parents need to take care of their kids so they could take care of them and there's a hadith that is very weak that the Prophet said, may Allah have mercy on the person who is good to his kids. So, and he said, just like you have rights from your kids, their kids, they deserve some rights from you. So when the father is harsh and then he is pushing his son to boycott him, so the father need to be more tolerant with his kid and to always push him to the best and to not always look at every mistake he makes, to push him in his morality and his and to raise him good. And remember, he is a trust in your hand. He's pure and he's capable to everything you give him. And you can take him, tilt him any way you want. So if you teach him goodness, he will be raised on goodness. And he'll be good in this life and in the hereafter. And if you teach him evil things, then he will be destroyed. And it will be the burden on the person who raised him. In the hadith, every boy, he is raised on nature, and his parents makes him a Jew or a Christian, or make him a Majus, meaning non-believer. Allah Azza wa Jalla says, oh, who believes, save yourself and your family fire that its fuel is the people and stones. To help your kids to be good to you by forgiving him and not to look after every flaws he has, unless it is a sin to Allah Azza wa Jal or disobedience to Allah. They have a lot of rights and start before they are even born. It starts before they choose their mother and to go before in their mother's womb and after they come out. And Amjad, they have talked about some of the rights. It says they have the right and like you cannot have an abortion for him unless the life of the mother is in danger. But you have to raise him in her womb and take care of her, make sure she takes the best and to stay away from anything that could hurt his health. You have the right for his existence in the father choosing the right partner for his life. That's going to be the mother, the teacher, that's the one that's going to raise him and to give him the good raising, to take care of the mother while she is pregnant, in emotional and in the physical, in the food. He have the right that from his born that you choose a good name for him and to be happy with him whether he is a male or female. And he should not be harming the or abusing the female, and he belonged to his natural parents. So any practice that's going to put doubt about who's the father or the mother by entering the womb or anything of that sort. Uh, the right in raising him in every aspect, every level of his life. And we're talking about everything from his emotional, also his body's needs. The right to enjoy his childhood. He should not be taken out of his rest or to play, to be free in his education with his tradition, to protect his personality and improve it, and to stay away from everything illegal and everything immoral and everything that against Allah Azza wa Jal, to teach him the rules of faith, raise him to worship Allah Azza wa Jal, obedient to Allah, teach him the ethics of Islam and practice, to stay away from the things that are forbidden, and so he will know the difference between right and left and wrong, to what is evil, what is good, and to have the right of education, the school and also the practical education, and to know Allah Azza wa Jal, who and to know that his mission in life, so he will be prepared for the time of reward and the hereafter, and to improve all his uh, features. There's so many of these rules I've seen to remind you of these rights, so you know your relationship with your, so you will not have this kind of abusive relationship between the father and the kid. So I want to remind you of the rights of your parents on him, from what you have heard of you taking care of your parents, and that's very noble. But you need to understand, my son, that the heart in the hands of Allah, no one holds it except Allah the Almighty. If you give him your rights, his rights, and goodness and being good companionship, so nothing hurts you, whatever you feel in your heart, and that feeling because of so many negative things during your life. And the Prophet ﷺ used to be just in his wives, because this is what he holds, and he apologized to his Lord for what does he have no control over in his heart. He said, "This is my sinful from what I hold and what you don't hold." كمان 60 أو 260 و100. لا لا. طب قلت لي ادفع له 100. والله هي مسجل عندي رسالة معليشك. So that it's so I want you to remind you of Allah Azza wa Jal, and if you say something, be just, and maybe if you put his uh, Remember of Allah Azza wa Jal, of the duties that Allah Azza wa Jal give you to tell for your parents, and not to say off to them. Remember these meanings. Remember that Allah Azza wa Jal has combined between uh, being grateful to Him and to His parents. Remember that Allah Azza wa Jal combined between uh, being good Allah combined between worshiping Him and being good to your parents. Don't be resistant to the feeling of hatred. Uh, you have to raise yourself into being good. May Allah inshallah change that feeling in your heart toward your father and make it full of love. This is the first problem with a person with his father. So in summary, he's just feeling a bad feeling toward his father because of the abuse he witnessed with his father. But that's it's fine. Just try to keep fighting it. Another problem: a Muslim he had sex with the Christian woman, adultery. She told him she cannot get pregnant, but she got pregnant. He knew that he is the father because of the DNA. So he wanted to marry her before the child is born. She had a child in a good health. If that child belongs to him, does he have to spend money on her? Do you tell him to continue marry her or to leave with divorce? To answer that question, after stressing the ration of repentance from adultery, the adultery does not meet with faith. If someone commits adultery, then the faith will leave him and be like the cloud, and then will come back to him after he's finished. When we see our youth come to this country and they are full of desires and they leave their desires to take care of them instead of the strong belief in Allah Azza wa Jal, and they go right and left depends on what comes in their wave in front of them, and they will fall into something that's going to make Allah Azza wa Jal angry. To the child to belong to the adulterer and no one uh, did try to fight him over, then it's different. Because of Allah, the Prophet saying that the child for the husband and for the adulterer the stone or the wives. This is what the majority of the scholars are saying, but that's agreed with them. Some they disagree. They allowed to bring the child to the adulterer if nobody disputed him. If she did not sleep with somebody else, it was said on the Hassan and Sirin, Arwa, and others.
عرض المدح وإبطال كرامته، فكانت تلك النسبة صحيحة بتصديق الله تعالى وبإخبار النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عن ذلك، فثبتت الأمور وحدها. أيضا قالوا إن عمر كان يريط أولاد الجاهلية بمن ادعاه في الإسلام. إيه معنى يعني يريط؟ يعني ينسبه.
Umar used
فواحد في
to,
الجاهلية كان عنده ولد ينزله، إذا
if someone
ادعى
had
ولد كان
adultery
عمر
in,
يرزقه.
in
ولما
Umar
يدعى
ibn
عن
Khattab,
زواج زوجته
if somebody committed
كان
adultery at the
يريط
time of
أولاد
Jalahiyya and he
الجاهلية
have a child,
بمن
he
ادعاه
will
في
refer him
الإسلام،
to him.
أي كان يلحقهم
So he will
بآبائهم
bring them back to their
بنفس
parents
الصلة.
in Islam.
دل هذا على أن الزاني إذا استلحق ولده من الزنا ألحق به، وأن هذا من أحكام الإسلام. قالوا أيضا القياس
They said
الصحيح
also
يقتضي إلحاق ولد
you have to
الزاني
take the
بالزاني إذا استلحقه.
with the adulterer if he
فلا
asks one,
أحكم
because
الزانيين، فإذا
if they
كان
refuse
يلحق بأمه وينسب
and he
إليها
referred to his mother and that's for sure,
وترثه
and
ويرثها،
he inherited and she inherited
ويثبت
him,
النسب بينه وبين أقارب أمه مع كونها زنت به
even though she
بمعنى
adulterated with him,
وقد ولد الولد من ماء الزانيين وقد اشتركا فيها
and they
واتفق على أنه ابنهما،
agreed that this is the
فكان
father,
يجوز
so why he should not be
الحلال
referred back to
ويبنون
the
له
adulterer,
في ذلك
and no
الحكم.
one disputed him. This is the choice of Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah and Ibn al-Qayyim also.
ففي استلحاق
So they said by referring that to the adulterer, if the woman did not sleep with somebody else,
والنبي صلى
and the
الله
Prophet
عليه
ﷺ,
وسلم قال
he said,
الولد للفراش وللعاهر الحرب، فجعل الولد للفراش
he
بالنسبة
made
إلى الزاني. فإذا لم تكن المرأة
the Prophet ﷺ, he said it is for the husband and for the adulterer the stone.
أولادا ولدوا في الجاهلية
And Umar did the same thing, and that's not
هذا أيضا هو اختيار
reference.
العلماء
This
في
is
شرح
what
الشريعة
they think their
الإسلامية،
understanding of the Prophet ﷺ intention.
فقد صدر
And
له
this is
فيه
what Amjad
قرار
has chose.
مستقل بعد إرجاء وتمهل دام عامين، وإن كان قد خصصه مما يقع من ذلك خارج ديار الإسلام، وأرجى النظر في تطبيقه داخل بلاد المسلمين إلى جلسته، ويبدو لي أن هذا الرأي
And it looks, this is the more,
والأقرب
it has more proofs of it.
والأقرب في هذه الحالة استخدام
So you can use the DNA to take any dot to make sure it is belong to him.
إذا ثبت
So it is
نسبه
proven that it belonged to him, then it is responsible for the alimony, for all the responsibility as a child. And since he already married her for sure, then he need to change the things to the good. Maybe she will embrace Islam, and she'll be raised between her family and in a family. Is to keep the contract, it is easier than to start it. And Allah knows the best. The second question about the 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 tubal pregnancy, it is allowed. Yes, you can use, because that's a treatment to a problem that one of the parents has. Allah said, remembering the mercy of Allah to his servant Zakaria. And he said, oh Allah, I got old and my bones are getting weak, and I was not miserable with your dua. And I'm afraid for those who after me, and my wife don't have a kid. And then all of this, so he could say, oh, give me a child. So he'll inherit from me, and the inheritance of Yaqub, he doesn't inherit any money, he's going to inherit the prophethood, the knowledge of the religion, and make him, oh Allah, satisfied. Then the glad tag came in. Oh Zakaria, we give you glad tag of a child. His name is John. We did not have a name, anyone before him to have that name of Yahya, which is John in English. that love to have the kids is something that most of the prophets of Allah Azza wa Jal wants. That's the natural way. But the way it's done is from the husband to the wife, not out of adultery, not out of anything. You have to have three things. Everything will be good. The semen has to be from the husband, the egg from the wife, and the warmth is from the mother, from the like you don't put it in a different to rent somebody's like a surrogate mother. No, because who is the mother? Is the one who have the egg, or is the one who gave birth? Allah said, their mothers, the one gave birth to them, and they are saying great thing, great lie and falsehood. It was agreed between a lot of the fiqh committees that it has to be the same mother who carries the egg and the semen. That is the rule of this matter. Wallahu alam. The question today, the the question. My father has kidney problems. You have to go kidney dialysis. He needs like a donor. My brother don't see that donor is allowed, and he is seeking some of the scholars like Ibn Athim who forgive donation. My father don't talk to him at all. He said he's free from him. He said your brother wants me to die. How are we going to solve that problem? My son, Sheikh Ibn Athimeen, is a great scholar, and I love him. Just I love my father. But the knowledge and the fiqh is a little bit further. The fiqh committee that include tens of scholars and experts who are equal to Sheikh, they said it is allowed to move the donors. But he said it is okay, and but every person you could take and relief from it except the process. And your brother cannot say on something that is disputed to say what I have it cannot have wrong, and vice versa. This is not correct. Take the fiqh committee that has more than 30 faqih and from the expert who have different opinion. This is a combined fiqh, not individual. So I tell my brother, my son, take your hand from your father and don't be hard on him or yourself or your brothers. Wallahu alam. Can you eat something good in something that could be used for something haram? You have different alternative. You only use it when it's a necessity, and there is no necessity because the shops and the restaurants are more than your the stones and sand. There is restaurants everywhere, so you have alternatives. Look for the other alternative and take what is for sure than the things that are doubtful. Another question: someone who wants to marry someone who is divorced, and he was there, but he don't want to be his wife to know. So he asked that she will give her apartment to her father, so that person who comes in, and he will not take the apartment. So the her father refused. Can she take another wali? She is for over 40 years old. I don't know the details of the family things, but I will tell you. The guardian he should not stop her from marriage of the
أن يعقل والدته من أن تتزوج بالكفء إذا تقدم
if
إليها.
someone comes the right person.
الأم أحق بنفسها من وليها
She is
في
more
مسألة الإذن والرضا،
in
لكن
the
الولي
acceptance,
أحق في إجراء
but
العقد
the guardian,
والتزويج.
he's the one who does the
لكن
contract.
إذا
But
عضل
if
الولي
he refused
ومنعها من الزواج
and he refused to make her marry,
وليكن لعضله
and there is
مسوغات
no good
شرعية،
reason, sure,
التمست
then she
إليه
can
الوسيلة من
try
خلال بعض الصلحاء
some of
والأمناء
the
والوزراء
elite people to
لعلها
come
أن
in.
تشرح صدرها
Maybe they will have
ويتم
some.
مساعدته فيها.
Uh,
لكن أبت انتقل بالولاية إلى بيت ليه
if he refused after so many tried so many different ways to convince him, then it will go to the next inch. The fathers, the sons, the brothers, the uncles. So her brother can. If she had a son who's old, he can. If neither, then the judge, she go to the Fatwa committee and they will take care of her in the East. There is always a solution. But don't rush to take the guardianship out. No, we have to try every possible way to find the way and try to find the reasons for it.
يفضل من هذا الزواج لأن إسقاط ولايته يعني تكريس الفجوة والخصومة والعداوة بينه وبين ابنته، وأسأل الله
I will ask Allah Azza wa Jal to make up between them and to make them successful of what pleases
تبرعات
Allah.
للمركز الإسلامي. هل يحق
The donation for the Islamic Center, can the
للمركز الإسلامي
can
هل
the
يحق لموجود
administrator
أكثر منه؟ أنا
take
مش فاهم
more?
تبرع للمركز الإسلامي مش عشان الشيخ ولا عشان يعني المدير، تبرع للمركز من أجل المركز.
They give for the donation to take care of the center, but could be some money for the employees. But this one, the sheikh or the management does not. It is a board that decides this. So they will have that freement to the imam and the others
لحظة من اللحظات
that
ستذوق الألسنة أعراضهم
the tongues will talk and people will talk about them and they will say they stole our money.
حتى تجعل بينك وبين الناس
So to make yourself away from this,
اجعل هذا
make sure that decision is in the independent board that is looked to every person that writes every the ins and out
في شفافية
and very transparency. So they will have
للفريق الإداري.
no problem to the management.
أما الوافق أنا قد أكون لم أفهم سؤالك.
Maybe I didn't understand your question, but this is what I understood from it.
لا ينبغي لا للمدير
No management or its imam
المسألة
to
نظام قبيل
make it like a tribal issue, like he is the one who decides. No,
شيخ قبيلة حكم من في جيبه
but the money is money. No, spend on money. No, it's not like that in the Islamic Center. It has to be organized. There should be transparency. There should be founders. There should be executive directors. They all have the two different boards.
هل يجوز إصلاح ماكينات
Can we
فix النقد لإحدى الدول
fix
الدول علما أن هذه الدول تتبع المنطق طبعا جائز لا قوام للناس بغير نقود
can you fix the
من الشوق
money
من الباطل أو الدخل لا ينعكس على أصل
to fix the money machines for any of the countries? Yes,
المصالح الشرعية
because the interest of people is depends on that money making from that country. What's wrong with that?
في هذه المناكب ما استطعنا حكما يعني
The rule about someone who work in women's clothes, and he mentioned a word that I don't know what does it mean. I'm not an expert in women's clothes. Anyway, If these clothes
التي لا تستر العورة
does not cover the
فمثل
private part,
الجارية
it will be inside the house in front of her husband. It is allowed.
كانت تلبس في الخارج
If it's going to be
وتأكدت بأن هذا
were outside,
المجتمع
and you know in this
وهذا المصنع
society
وهذه
or that
البيئة
factory
تصنعها
is
للخارج
making this for the outside, stay away from it.
المسألة
If it
ظاهرة
is something that
يمشي
could be this or that,
يرجع إلى أصل الفن
it is allowed, and you the
الخطأ
responsibility on the person who buys that or do the
إذا
wrong.
توسط بينك وبين المستهلك توسطت إدارة
So if a management or
مسؤولة
there's
حرة
someone that is responsible, then the responsibility goes to that responsible part.
قابلة أن تستخدم في الداخل وأن تستخدم في الخارج وبعد هذا
And
إن
after that,
أردت يا ولدي
if you want
أن تستبرئ بدينك
to be safe in your religion and your honor,
لابد
to stay away from the things that are doubtful. So the best part of your religion is to be guard yourself.
كنت في حال
But if you are in need, don't waste that opportunity in the unemployment that is widespread and the need. May Allah, inshallah, to bless you in your guardianship.
حدث خلاف
There is a
بيني
dispute
وبين
between me and my husband. They said, go to your mother and take it. So I took my brothers and they came over.
قال لزوجي لا
When they came in, she told me, don't.
فسوف أطلق
If you leave, I'm gonna divorce. And I left. Am I divorced? In that, it is a warning of the divorce. I will do. Does not happen unless he did fulfill his promise to divorce her. But my daughter, I ask you to keep your household. Do not be stubborn against your husband. There is nothing more beautiful for the shaitan is to destroy the household. In the Sahih al-Jami' that Iblis, he sits in water and bring his soldiers. The closer to him is the one who has caused the best fitna. So one of them will come in, I did this and this. He said, you didn't do nothing. You're a loser. And they come in and I did. Don't leave him until I separate between him and his wife. So he will tell him, come close. You are the best. You are the best. So you have to take care of your household. May Allah be bless you. A woman, she breastfed the daughter of her sister more than once. Can she take her hijab in front of the husband of that girl? If there's enough of the, which is 5 breastfed that are known, then she is her daughter in breastfeeding. Muslim he put what is forbidden by 5 breastfed. And he said, Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, she said, what is came in the Quran, 10 known breastfed. Then they were overtaken of 5. The Prophet ﷺ died, and they are what is recited in the Quran. So if that's her daughter Rida, then it is from breastfeeding, it is his daughter. In Hadith al-Bukhari, it is forbidden in the breastfeeding what is forbidden in the blood kinship. The last question, the important. I'll conclude with it. Well, give me your earrings. What is the status of about the customs, free customs from the this is what is happening in Egypt actually. You put the money in dollars in the central bank, the amount of the car with the customs or everything, and then the money will be back after 5 years, but in the currency of the country. First of all, I don't want to get into the scholars of the East, because we're supposed to take all the East problems to the East Mufti. But if I have to say something in here, our knowledge that these are loans. To you put the money in the bank, it is a loan. It's to give someone so you could give it a replacement. With that, is different than the deposit. It's to protect this thing so you could take it itself. So the deposit is different than to give. Just like whenever you have the deposit, direct deposit, this is you put whatever you want and you take it the same thing. But they said the deposit that is used and could be wrote like this example. That's a loan. That's not a deposit. You have to look at the action, not the names. You take that money, it is a loan. Do you have the like if I want to borrow means you are given a loan. Like if I want to borrow the shampoo, I'm using it. So I'm using it, I borrowed it, but I used it. It's not there anymore. If you give somebody money, you use it, it was used. He's going to give you something equal to it. This is the loan to give something so you could give its equal. But look at the fiqh. We say for Fath al-Qadir, the borrow is just a loan. You cannot benefit from it except to use it. So using it is like a loan. But they imagined there is a way that does not apply to this. You borrow, you take money, but it's not a loan. To but if you use what it's going to be used to, you use it. You give me this gold, for example. I'll use it as to weigh the gold I have. So I'm using it so I could measure the something that I have, or to beautify his place, or to beautify his wife. Some people borrow gold from other women so they could use it for another wedding, and then she take it back. That's not a loan. She benefits from it, and then that same thing came the same way. I returned it back like it was. That's not a loan. That uses that does not change its origins. It's not a loan. And the decision of Islamic fiqh from Islamic, they said the it is a loan. The holder is guaranteeing it, so he's supposed to return it back when it's wanted. Does not change. The bank is the loan. Also, to change the laws in Egypt, if the money is that is deposited, that's gonna be used, and the one that you give it to, he's allowed to use it. then it is a loan.
القروض التي
The loans that's going to bring benefit,
بالإجماع
it is forbidden
وفي الحديث
with no dispute between fiqh.
لكن سنده ضعيف لكن
There's a hadith, but it's the meaning is very agreed upon. But it's if you give him money,
قابل هذا اديك السيارة
I give you the car to use it for a month. No, it's a loan that brought a benefit.
أعطيته مبلغا من
Give
المال
some money,
عشان ومقابل إذا أعطيك مفتاح
so I give you the
لمدة شهر أو
apartment for 1 week or less or more,
أعطيك أرض
or give you his land so you could use it to give him his money. No,
في هذه الصورة
this form,
مقابل الإعفاء من الرسوم
so you don't have to pay that. That's a benefit that is very clear, and this is the best of to use this. So this is a loan with interest. And what
قرار منع الفقه الإسلامي
in the fiqh Islamic, the deposits that you put with interest,
هي قروض ربوية محرمة
it is forbidden, whether it is in the borrow or deposit or checking account. This is the answer. The conclusion, you look at the need or the things that are of the same sort. The area that allowed it, whether it's a big bank, they have their own scholars, and they are the one who decide what is their necessity, and they are responsible in front of Allah. So we don't interfere with that. With the general public who benefit from this kind of rules, what it looks that you are looking about the interest, not on necessities. So whomever seems to him he is in need or of his equal, then he needs to expose his condition that he trusts in his religion from the people of Fatwa in that country. And Allah A'lam, subhanahu wa ta'ala, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.